This week's Seder of Yisro contains the Seres HaDibros that served as a covenant between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Klal Yisrael as the people stood by the mountain as one entity. Vayichan Shem Yisrael neged ahar ki ish echad b'leiv echad. And yet, at the very conclusion of the Sedra, we have the description of the Mizbeach Avonim. We have the description of the stone altar upon which the plethora of korbanos were brought. And we have a detail listed in the very last pasuk that begs clarification. States the Torah, "V'lo sala b'malos ha'mizbechi," when you fashion the mizbeach, you are not permitted to fashion it with steps, enabling the Kohen to ascend to the top of the mizbeach, but rather there has to be a ramp, a slope. Why so? For Rashi explains when the pasuk says, "Asher lo sigola ervascha alav," that you are not permitted to have steps, for otherwise there would be effectively a breach of tznius, of modesty, as the Kohen would ascend the steps. Rashi says it's not really the case, because every Kohen, as part of his required garments, was wearing shorts. And therefore, with the largest and the widest of step of the Kohen from one level to another, there really wouldn't be a literal breach of immodesty. But then why does the pasuk prohibit the stepping? Explains Rashi, there wouldn't be a literal breach of modesty, but it would be karav legiloi ervahu. It would be somewhat akin to a breach of modesty. And therefore we are being instructed, says Rashi, that much as the Kohen is not permitted to ascend to the top of the altar by stepping one step, one level at a time, in order not to effectively cause embarrassment to stones that are inanimate in nature, Amra Torah, since they would be needed, the stones, the ascent to the top of the Mizbeach is required for the part of our service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then in no form or fashion may the Kohen ascend in his service of God in a manner that might even cause a scintilla of embarrassment to an inanimate object, all the more so, chavercha, your friend, shehu b'dmus yotzrecha, who is in the demus, created in the image of God, umachbed al bizyono, and understandably feels the hurt and the pain when he is embarrassed. Alachas kama v'chama, how much more careful, how much more need we engage in the way that we serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu without causing any harm or any pain or chagrin to others. So what I think the Torah is telling us is that after we're given the Seres HaDibros and we're given the playbook by which we are to govern our lives and conduct ourselves in our daily service of Hashem Yisbarach, we are effectively being told, when we ascend to the top of the Mizbeach, when we seek to come closer to the Ribono Shel Olam, in our avodas Hashem, we need see to it that we are never engaging in religious ascent by the misstep of stepping upon others in the process. We're supposed to be equal, Vayichan Shem Yisrael neged ahar. And never, when we become more from, more religious, more knowledgeable, more loyal to the Dvar Hashem that we were given Har Sinai, never ever are we supposed to do so at the cost of causing embarrassment to others, that they should feel that they are being stepped upon as we gradually raise ourselves higher in our service of the Borei Olam. Below Sala, we are never permitted to step towards the top of the Mizbeach, neither on inanimate stone fashioned into steps, and certainly not stepping on the minds or the hearts or the self-perceptions of others. Have a wonderful Shabbos.